I have a new riddle for you. What has only one thumb, but still has two brand new boxes of horror movies? Yes, indeed, the post office just brought me these two brand new boxes of horror movies courtesy of HorrorPack. These are, of course, the June 2021 horror packs. One of them will be the DVD pack, one of them will be the Blu-ray pack. As is our way, I'm going to open these up, we'll see what's inside, and discuss the films as we go along. So, let's go ahead and get started. Horror pack number 1. Which brings us right to horror pack number 2. Horror pack number 2. So let's go ahead and see what we have. Let's start with this one. I can tell by the ins that this is the DVD pack. And the first one is, it's Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence. This is a film that, I recall seeing the trailers for, and I've been wanting to watch for a while. I, for some reason, never actually got around to watching this. I've heard some good things, so I'm certainly looking forward to this one. The description on the back of this one doesn't really tell us very much. It just tells us who's in it, who directed it, etc. Gives it some praise, calls it darkly exhilarating, and says, experience the visually arresting psychological thriller that will leave your heart pounding and your mind blown. Based on what I've heard, that doesn't sound like empty praise, so I'm looking forward to giving it a try and seeing if the hype was justified. And second out of the DVD pack is Storm Warning. This is an unrated edition. It's from Dimension Extreme. It says it's from the director of Urban Legend. This is one that I'm not particularly familiar with. According to the description on the back, from the director of Urban Legend comes this terrifying trip into the depths of human depravity. When a storm forces a couple to land their sailboat far ashore, they stumble upon a remote island inhabited by a demented father and his psychotic sons. Captured, beaten, and sexually enslaved, the couple turns the tables in a bloody fight for survival. Featuring some of the most intensely brutal scenes imaginable, Storm Warning never lets up as it builds toward a shocking finish. Certainly sounds like a good entry into the extreme horror subgenre, which is not always my favorite subgenre, but as you've heard me discuss in some other videos, it is a subgenre that I appreciate from time to time, and I'm looking forward to giving Storm Warning a try as well. Which brings us to the third one out of the DVD pack, which is ThreeHeaded Shark Attack, starring Danny Trejo, which is impressive casting. He always does good work. The description on the back, as if we need to even read it with a title like that, informs us, the world's greatest killing machine is 3 times as deadly when a mutated shark threatens a cruise ship. As the shark eats its way from one end of the ship to the next, the passengers fight the deadly predator using anything they can find. Three-Headed Shark Attack. I don't even know what to say. It sounds awesome. Doesn't sound good, sounds awesome though. Looking forward to watching this one, presumably with an adult beverage and a big ass bucket of popcorn. And so the final entry in the June 2021 DVD pack is Cheap Thrills. It says, what doesn't kill you makes you richer. Interesting. I recognize some of the cast, so that bodes well. Let's see what the description says. A darkly comic thriller, Cheap Thrills follows the one-night descent of 2 friends participating in a series of escalating paid dares to entertain a wealthy couple with a twisted sense of humor. after down-and-out family man Craig simultaneously loses his job and is served an eviction notice. That's a bad day. He runs into his long-lost deadbeat pal Vince at a local dive bar. As the two drink their troubles away, they are lured by a couple celebrating a birthday who shell out obscene wads of cash to Craig and Vince in exchange for taking on harmless bets. Always a fun thing to do. I'm a connoisseur of the bar bet, so this is sounding right up my alley so far. The party continues to a strip club and eventually to the couple's home, where the cash payoffs increase wildly as the challenges become more outrageous, hilarious, illegal, and even downright inhuman. Drugs and laughter give way to sex, firearms, felonies, and self-destruction. By sunrise, Craig and Vince will learn exactly how far they're willing to go for both big money and cheap thrills. This sounds right up my alley. While I am not particularly a gambler, and I'm certainly an honest person, which means I don't necessarily partake of bar bets in their most extreme form, I am something of an aficionado of the form of the bar bet, and I'm interested in gambling. I'm interested in outrageous stunts that gamblers perform, and it sounds like this takes it to the extreme, so I'm looking forward to seeing what a dark comedy around these ideas looks like. Looking forward to that one as well. So the DVDs all seem at least promising. Let's have a look at what must be the Blu-ray pack. And the first treasure to emerge from said Blu-ray pack is... oh, it's Child's Play, the original Chucky movie. This is the original, I trust, not the remake. Let's see, year of release, 1988. Perfect, this is in fact the original one. I didn't really care for the remake. I love the original. Actually, I like the entire series. I do already own the series, but I don't own this particular edition, so this is a nice little piece to add to the collection. And to be honest, I don't think there's really all that much to say about this. I think we all know about Chucky. But in case you don't know, I'll read the description from the back, which says, 6-year-old Andy is thrilled when he gets a brand new, cheery Chucky doll for his birthday, but he quickly discovers that Chucky is possessed by the soul of a notorious serial killer who swiftly begins terrorizing Andy, his ill-fated babysitter, and his disbelieving mom. And he doesn't stop there. Proving he's nobody to toy with, the demonic doll schemes to transfer his evil spirit out of its kid-friendly container and into Andy. Now, as you've seen in the thumbnail of one of my previous videos, I actually have a Chucky doll along with Tiffany, Bride of Chucky doll. So certainly a fan of this series. This is a good thing to have. And second out of the Blu-ray pack is Gwen. This is a film that I'm not familiar with. I do like the cover art though. This says it's a Shudder original, so since I'm a subscriber to Shudder as well, I would have had the opportunity to watch this online, but I always prefer to get a physical copy anyway, as much as I enjoy Shudder and the other streaming services, and I do. The description on the back informs us that Gwen is a young girl whose life seems to be collapsing around her. Struggling with her mother's mysterious illness, her father's absence, and a group of angry villagers threatening to take her farm, Gwen must find the strength to guide her family through the darkness. But as a malevolent presence begins to take grip of her home, it becomes apparent that there is a greater evil that may be too strong to overcome. Based on the photos and the description, this looks like a period story. I'm guessing some sort of a ghost or demon story combined with period drama. Assuming I'm right about what it is, I very much like this genre or this kind of horror movie. I don't know this one in particular, but I'm looking forward to finding out what it's really all about. And third out of the Blu-ray pack is Spare Parts. According to the description on the back, a gory and often exhilarating ride, says Starburst magazine. In a godforsaken bar in the middle of nowhere, an all-girl band, Miss 45, rips the stage apart with their punk spirit. But their performance impresses an enthusiastic fan who lures the girls into a trap, sedates them, and starts customizing them. Slowly, they begin to gain consciousness and, in total shock, realize their arms have all been replaced with axes and chainsaws to fight gladiator style in a junkyard arena owned by a sadistic emperor, forcing them into the battle of their lives with one prize in mind: their freedom. You know what? This is another one that I know I've heard the title before. I don't know much about the film, certainly haven't seen it, but as has been the case with several of these, looks and sounds really good. So, looking forward to this one as well. Maybe sort of the opposite of this other one. I'm guessing quiet psychological horror, outrageous bloody horror. Both are great, so I'm looking forward to Spare Parts as well. And finally, we have HorrorPack exclusive Blu-ray number 60, and that is the Poltergeist Diaries. The description on the back tells us, after moving to an isolated cabin. You know, in the real world that sounds like paradise, but in a horror movie, nothing good can come of that. Anyway, after moving to an isolated cabin, Jacob Taylor vanishes without a trace. With the help of footage he leaves behind, his family members, friends, and a detective try to find answers to the strange events that are centered around him. So this looks like maybe a mix of found footage along with more of a traditional film. It seems like it's going to be characters in a traditional film piecing together a story from found footage. Certainly an interesting idea. It has a lot of promise. Another one I don't know anything about, so I'm hoping to be impressed by the Poltergeist Diaries. So there we have it. 8 very promising new horror movies for me to go and watch. Only minimal overlap with my pre-existing horror movie collection, which is always nice. I'm going to get started on these tonight. Let me remind you, please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. It helps me a lot. It helps me bring you a bunch of horror-related content, whether it's movies or books or anything else that might be related to horror. And as always, take care and stay scared.